And we're back, Nocturnal Duck, with a brand new spoiler video. So stoked. This one actually has good volume of spoilers. I know there's heaps more that I'm going to leave for you guys to go and dig up, but I've just got the ones that stood out to me, and basically I'm just going to skim through them reasonably quick because I have to do this through the day, and it's very much daytime noise. You can hear the cricket, you can hear the cars, so I do apologise. So let's just swing straight into this belly dance, shall we? We have our first one, which is Cottage. So this is just a land. It comes in tapped unless you control 3 swamps, and if you control 3 swamps, it comes in untapped, and then you may trigger it, which is put a target creature from your graveyard on top of your library. So pretty much straightforward, and I think like it's gonna definitely see some play. It's really hard to say all this until we see the set, but it already can go into some decks. So the next one we have is Flaxen Intrusion. I'm sorry it's a bit hard to read. I will explain it. It's a 1-drop 1/2 creature, a human berserker, Goldilocks. And it reads, whenever she does damage, you get to destroy a target artifact or enchantment. So her adventure, which is a 7 cost, you pay 5 and 2 forests to create 3 2/2 bears. So I think that's really cool. She creates the 3 bears. I think it would have been cool to have one bear a 1/1, another bear a 2/2, another bear 3/3, just to sort of give them the classic nursery rhyme thing. But whatever, that's still really cool. I feel like she's going to see play as a 1-drop, and having a late game ability is pretty rock solid. Putting her down with a bunch of bears, yeah, that's pretty crazy. 8 mana to do that, So that's pretty much what she does, and I really enjoy her flavor text, I guess. So on to the next, we have Faerie, actually. This is to go with our Peter Pan spoiler, I believe. He's going to have a whole archetype based around him. So when he enters... when he deals combat damage to a player, you can choose any, which is a target, or each player, discards a card. Each player loses 1 life and draws a card, and each player sacrifices a creature. So, that is really interesting because it's going to happen to you as well. So you'll put him in decks where if you discard, it's going to help you, or if you draw a card, it's going to help you, that sort of stuff. So I think he's going to be a heavy build around, but he could slot into a few sort of current builds and whatever, but it's pretty cool. There's a fairy dude already, so... on to the next, Crystal Slipper. This one's actually pretty crap, but the flavour of it is what I truly, truly like. It's just a 2-drop artifact, or artifact equipment, 1 and a red, and you pay 1 to equip it to a creature, giving it +1 and haste. So that's not that bad. Pay 1, give a creature haste and a little bit of a buff. But, we have so many other ways of doing that currently. I just feel like this is in here for the sake of being Cinderella. They wanted to sort of have that. But I think it still will have a place. It will have a role to play. The next one, Gilded Goose. Now this I am pumped about. I can't express my excitement enough. So what do we have here? It is a 1-drop creature, a 0/2 with flying, so that can really come into play as a blocker. But his main thing is when he enters the battlefield, you create a food token. Aha! Remember we discussed the food token being distributed through other things? We all knew that would happen. But what does the food token do? We finally find out. So, when he enters, you create a food token, and the food token is an artifact that when you sacrifice it, you gain 3 life. So I think I definitely was on the money there. And it says here, play 2 and tap the Gilded Goose and create a food token. So you can just bring them all out. But then he has a trigger with the food tokens, which is exactly my prediction. You sacrifice a food token for any mana of colour. So 1 mana of any colour. So exactly like I said in the Peter Pan spoiler video, where you'll have a creature that comes out and has a benefit from having a food token, and then when you sacrifice a food token, you gain some life and get a mana. So I think that's pretty cool. Hopefully we see heaps more with this food mechanic. Food mechanic, I know. And here is one. Speaking of which, we have our first visual of a food token, and it's funny enough, it's a basket of eggs. So I'm just, in love with this. I love that this is what's going on in Magic. So it's a 2-drop artifact, so when it's obviously what we said, but this one is a different type. So when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So that's already solid. Turn 2, draw a card. And then you can sacrifice the golden egg and add 1 mana of any color, or 2 and tap it and sacrifice the egg and you gain 3 life. So it's basically the food token that the Gilded Goose would make, except you have to sort of choose which one, whereas that one, using the Gilded Lotus, god damn it, I'm too excited, using the Gilded Goose and getting that food token and sacrificing that for 3 life and gaining 1 mana is a better payoff. But if you have this out as well, I'm pretty sure you're stoked. So that's what this one is doing. Yeah, I really like seeing that it's a bag of eggs. Eggs! We all needed eggs in Magic. Here we are, another adventure card. So we have Lovestruck Beast. So Beauty and the Beast, I love this one too. The art is just on point. So what does this guy do? He's a 3-drop 5/5. Yeah, I think that's rock solid. But he has a little bit of a condition. So his text reads that he can't attack unless you control a 1/1 creature. So that's pretty easy to make happen, Like, how many times have you already got 1/1s in a deck? Or if you're running a token deck, he's just always attacking. And to have a 5/5 body as a blocker, even if he can't attack, is pretty rock solid. But then he's got his own adventure, which is a lot cheaper. It's 1 green mana to create a human 1/1 token. So he can fuel himself. You drop him on turn 3, and then turn 4, you can create a token and then attack in with a 5/5. So that's pretty rock solid in my mind. And by turn 4, you can pay 4 and create 4 1/1s, right? So I think he's going to be a little bit of a token machine and definitely be in a bunch of token brews. Like, I feel he's got a big place in a couple of decks already. So yeah, that's up there in my mind. On to the next. What do we have here? I don't know, sorry. I've tried my best to edit this so it works, but this is what we've got. Sorry. Our Wishful Merfolk. This thing is the... I've been wanting to know what this does. I've been really wanting to know what this does. The Little Mermaid reference, obviously, the red hair merfolk. As she's a 2-drop, 1 and a blue defender, a 3/2 defender, which is awesome, And you pay 2, and she loses defender and becomes a human until end of turn. So I think the whole mermaid flavor here is crazy, crazy good, and I love that she's a 3/2. I think that's like one of the better defenders I've seen in a while. I know defender with the 2 toughness isn't like the greatest, but I still feel like a lot of the defenders are walls, like 0/4s and whatnot, and they just sponge up damage, but they don't actually stop them from swinging in. So I think this, as a defender, is already going to pose a decent blocker, and that will prevent them from swinging in with a 3/3, so... And even if they do, you're going to pay next turn and swing in with yours. So I think that's really, really cool. I really do enjoy that one. So on to the next. We have, and this will be the last one. I'm sorry about all of this mess here. Let's just fix it up. Midnight Clock, this artifact, right? This is pretty interesting, running with the whole Cinderella theme again. We have 3 mana, a 2 and a blue for a artifact Midnight Clock. And it says you pay 1 to add a blue. So it's a ramp piece, which is really freaking cool. And then you pay 3, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. And you don't have to tap it for that. You just pay the 3, put an hour counter on it. You can even use itself to add, so you pay 2 and then tap itself to put this on. At the beginning of each upkeep, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. So every turn it's going to get a counter. And when the 12th hour counter is put on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards and exile this clock. Oh my god, I already see so much brew. I want to instantly get 4 copies of this and do a brew fully around this straight away. I think this is going to be one of my first decks on the channel from the new set. Basically, this thing, I feel, with Proliferate is just going to be redonkulous, Like, you're going to put 12 counters on it pretty easy. In my mind, I think with the right color matchup, you're going to be doing this pretty consistently, And I feel that artifacts, obviously the new set's going to really mix everything up, but the current meta artifacts kind of really stick around, I've noticed, like we've got enough removal to get rid of them, but for some games I've won entirely off having artifacts stick around for the whole game. So I think this has got just such a solid place in my heart and in my deck brew already. So I definitely want to be doing a solid brew around this, and something to do with card draw. I don't know. I'm going to see what else I can find that comes out, but yeah, that's the spoilers that I've dug up for you guys so far. I hope you've enjoyed all of these ones. I'm sorry about the jumble there. It's been really hard to sort of edit it, and I've been trying to just get it out quickly too. So I didn't have enough time to really make all this super nice and beautiful for you guys. But yeah, it's the idea is to just try and get it out while they're fresh and hot and out of the pan. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, follow. I'm going to hopefully have more spoilers for you tonight. I am pretty much spending the rest of this day just digging in and finding them. So if I can find them and make a whole new video, expect one later tonight. If not, first thing tomorrow morning. So that's me. I'm going to get digging in for you guys. So enjoy and get as excited as me, because this is looking friggin' cool. Nocturnal Duck out.